Hey everybody, I'm Barbara and we are going to do divide expenses and billing groups today. It's very exciting. Okay, so darwin.Cloud has new features for Divide Expense Wizard. We can spread an expense across all offices or even just some offices. Or you can charge one or all of your agents when you need to be reimbursed for an expense, whether or not you're paying a vendor. So in order to do this, we start out on our bills tab, and then we go to enter bills. And then we have a divide expense button that we click into. And we say we want to create a new expense. You choose your company from the drop down, and you have a choice to divide it between offices or agents. The first set we're going to look at is dividing it between offices, and then we'll get into dividing it between agents. And when you've made your selections, you click next. And then we can choose from a billing group. We're going to get into creating billing groups later on. So once you choose your billing group, you click the next button. And this is where we're going to set up the GL account that we're going to charge, the vendor, Tampa Bay Times, the date, the dollar amount, and a description. And then we click the next button. And now you have two options. You can create the accounts payable voucher and have it be posted, or you can have it be created and left open for further editing. Once you make that selection, you click finish, and then you have your accounts payable voucher here for the Tampa Bay Times, and it's split up between the offices the way your billing group has directed it to. Questions so far?
Can you show us how to do the same thing without a billing group? Is it possible?
Sure it is. I don't have screens for that, but sure it is.
Okay.
If you're not going to use a billing group, you can just add the offices down here and
Put any amount you want in or something?
put any amount you want in. Sure. Although I believe there is a way in Divide Expenses that you can select your offices and choose the percentages that you want to charge them.
Thank you.
Sure. I don't think I have that screen in here, but we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going to do Divide Expenses Charged to Agents. We're going to go through the same steps of clicking on Bills and Enter Bills, going to the Divide Expense button, and then your screen is going to open up and you're going to choose your company once again. And now we're going to choose agents that we're going to divide expenses. So now we have the option, what do you want to do? Charge your agents for an amount due to a vendor, or just charge your agents but not pay anybody. And we decided we're going to divide a voucher that's $9 million between your agents. And then we click the next button and we set up the same vendor, the date, description. Click next, and we're going to see a drop down for your offices. So you can choose one or more offices. You can choose to charge terminated agents, but they get a little cranky. So we usually uncheck this box, and we select the agents, one, a few, or all. Here we've selected all of them, terminated and active. And then we would click the next button. And again, you have the option of having that AP voucher posted or left open for further editing. And then you just click finish. And here we have the vendor Asheville Citizen Times, and these agents are all sharing the same amount. So everybody's getting charged for $65,000. I don't know if they'd be happy with that. Okay. Now, if you want to, we can edit. I'm sorry, after we post this invoice, we click invoice now, which generates the invoices for all of your agents, and you'll be able to go to the sales tab and see those invoices there. And then you can run your agent payments if you'd like. Okay, any questions about divide expenses before we get into setting up billing groups?
I don't see anything in the chat so far.
Well, everybody just must be so fascinated. Okay, so we use the billing group wizard. We can add the office percentages manually, or you can pick from a wide variety of options for to determine the fair share that each office in the group has to pay. So we can go by agent count, AGCI, sides, volumes, new listings, new pendings. And what we suggest you do is don't change it all the time. Maybe once a quarter or even once a year, you just want to modify the billing group to get an updated amount of percentages to split expenses across.
Overall, if you just
Oh.
take a step back, why would you create a billing group and what are they good for?
A billing group is to easily break down an expense if you need to spread it across your offices. So, like we use billing groups in the FSA department when we want to spread the overhead charges across sales offices. So the corporate overhead needs to be distributed among sales offices. So we would select a billing group based on most likely agent count or AGCI.
Got
And it would
Thank
help.
you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for the question, Mark. Okay, add a new billing group. We're going to go to the company tab in Darwin and then choose billing group on the left-hand side, choose new, and you're going to get this little pop-up to add a new billing group. You have to give it a name, and we're going to choose the company, and then we're going to click save. And then you're going to get a new screen where we're going to keep adding new offices in here. This is how you're going to manually do a billing group. It's not going to be by like agent count or AGCI or number of pendings. So here we've added 4 offices and we have the percentages divvied up. And if we add them up, that comes to 100 and you have your little total down here at the bottom of the screen. Once you have your offices and percentages, you're going to click save. And now we're going to create a new billing group using our wizard, which is a multi-step process. So we're going to go back to company, billing group, and new, give it a name, choose the company, save. We're going to choose our offices that we want to include in this billing group. We'll click the next button. So all of our offices are going to be on the left-hand side, and this is how you auto-calculate your percentages. You can choose any of these options, and based on this information within Darwin, it will auto-calculate the percentage that's going to be apportioned to each office. So for this instance, we're going to do agent count, and then we're going to click next. And now we have everything set up. We can click finish. You'll be taken back to this screen where you can either save it, or if you want to modify the percentages of the offices, you can do that as well. Wow, that went a lot faster than I thought it would. Questions? Mark, do you have anything for me?
Talk about the balancing the billing group to 100%.
Yes. Because we're dealing with percentages that can go out several different decimal points, we sometimes have to change the percentages to make sure that the total comes to 100%, because you don't want to really divide anything by 103%.
So now I guess you're going to show us how to use a billing group?
No, that's what we do tomorrow in the Q&A.
Oh,
Remember?
Okay. All right. Teresa, I put a couple questions in the chat. I don't know if this is the right time for them.
Mark, we did see how to use a billing group when we first did the divide expenses, because the billing groups were already, right? They were already set up.
Right, exactly.
Hey, no, maybe I'm not a co-host. I'm not seeing anything in the chat.
Oh, okay, sorry. When you went through the wizard before, Barbara, I saw there was an option to create the voucher but not post it.
Correct.
Why would you ever do that?
In case you wanted to make some adjustments, if you needed to add additional lines to it.
Got it. Got it.
So say I was breaking up a bill between offices, but then I had an extra charge I needed to pass on to an agent, I would just add that line to bill the agent.
Got it. Got it. And then if you had chosen in the wizard to charge agents but not pay a vendor, what is different about that choice as opposed to pay a vendor? What's the big difference
paying
there?
a vendor is you're going to create a payable in the system because you have to pay somebody. If you just want to charge agents but not pay anybody, you would use the divide expenses, and then you would have a line item or one or more line items to zero that invoice out to bring it to zero. So you'd be charging an agent, say for $100 for office supplies, and then you'd have a negative number for their office. The GL account for office supplies, you put the dollar amount in as -100. Your AP voucher comes to 0. You're not paying anybody, but you are invoicing your agent and crediting back the GL expense account for that amount.
So it's basically billing an agent and crediting one of your expense accounts.
Correct.
You said there might be more than one negative line at the bottom?
So if we're charging agents that go across multiple offices, you would need to, well, I would put a line item for each individual office with the dollar amount as a negative to zero out the voucher. I just wouldn't put it all to one office if the agents are spread across multiple offices.
And I think the wizard calculates that and divides it up automatically because it knows what office agents are in. How else can we use billing groups?
We can use billing groups in classifying bank stream expenses.
Exactly. Talk about that a little bit.
So when you're classifying expenses in bank stream and you select an expense to classify, you have an option for breaking it down as a single line, as a multi-line, or using a billing group to divide that expense. And it'll use the calculations that you've chosen, either agent count, AGCI, etc., to break down that expense. And it would post it to the offices. I don't believe we can use agent billing to, we can't use anything to divide expenses for agents, I don't think right now in
Bank
BankStream,
stream. Yeah,
but I
don't
know
think
it's being
so.
worked on.
But this then, if you have some charge coming in by credit card and it should be split across 10 offices, then that could do it automatically.
Yes.
That was the last of my questions. If anybody wants to see that, maybe you could teach that in the webinar tomorrow.
Of course. Of
Yeah,
course we can.
I would definitely suggest if somebody's got a need for this, if you've got multiple offices or
Mm-hmm.
charges that you're dividing it amongst agents, definitely come on tomorrow because we can help you set up those, different billing groups for the offices and also show you how to do that with your agents.
And it's a big time saver also, rather than
It's a
sitting there
huge time saver.
manually breaking down an invoice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I know, Barbara, there's an important reason that you're dividing corporate overhead across the offices. That
course.
some people may not know, like me, because I don't
So
know
the corporate
accounting,
office-
but if people aren't doing it, why might they want to do that?
Thank you, Adam. So the corporate office is not a profit center. So you shouldn't have.
We hope not.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
Yeah.
It's not a profit center. So you want to take all the expenses that have been booked to the corporate office and spread it out amongst the profit centers, which are the sales offices.
So I think this has something to do with the profit per agent calculation, right? Well, I know there's a spotlight that shows your profit per agent.
Yes, there is.
So if you book a lot of expenses to corporate overhead and you don't cost allocate those expenses fairly across the offices, then it looks to Darwin like the overhead per agent is lower than it really is because a lot of the overhead to run the company hasn't been charged to the office.
Exactly.
So-
And you don't really know if the agent is pulling their weight.
Exactly. So you need, at the end of the month, you need the corporate office to have no expenses and it all been cost allocated to the location. So you can really see what it really cost to have each office open, right? I think
Yep.
that's the point of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, I have to say, I really enjoy these webinars where you join and after I present, we have like a discussion like this.
Yeah, I do my best to come as often as I can. Maybe you could teach this tomorrow in the class, but I think there's an opportunity. I think there's a feature the guys added. If you're looking at a voucher or payable, it's all paid and everything, and you go to reclassify it. I think they added a feature that you can choose a billing group from the drop-down and it'll reclassify the expenses
Okay.
according to the billing group. Maybe you could show that
Of course.
tomorrow. Because
Sure.
the idea behind that is if somebody in the accounts payable department took an expense and they put it all to corporate,
Mm-hmm.
but it really should have been cost allocated to the, like, what, Western States Billing Group or whatever it
Right.
might be, you can just choose the billing group under reclassify and it'll take the total amount and divide it proportionately across the offices. And with reclassify,
Mhm.
since you don't need to unpost or anything, it's a good way to
Correct.
clean up the P&L.
That's how our team does it.
Oh, really? Talk about that. You put things to corporate first, or you do that when you see that?
There are certain items that go to corporate.
Mhm.
I mean, it could, first of all, we do have some clients that do their own accounts payable.
Oh, I see.
So they might book something to corporate, and then at month end, the team will go in and they'll reclassify it to break it down the way it's supposed to between the sales offices.
Smart. Cool. Adam, you got any other questions for us about this?
Nope.
Teresa, how about you? Because otherwise I'd like to share some ideas, Barbara, about something.
Nope.
So, Barbara, if you could get people's feedback tomorrow on the class, you know how when you're setting up bank stream expense classification,
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of telling Darwin, when you see a credit card charge from this vendor, or you see an automatic bank withdrawal from this vendor, automatically break it amongst these offices, or automatically charge it to this billing group and put it to these expense accounts so it can automatically classify it.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to the team that's starting to sketch out which features they're going to work on first for Darwin AI.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the questions came up, and I think I've talked to you about this before. One of the questions came up, can we put that same kind of, it's kind of like, it's almost like training Darwin that says, look it, on this vendor, and it might be, you might do it on the person screen, right? On this vendor, whenever you get bills from this vendor, this is generally how I like them to be expensed.
Mm-hmm.
And the AI team was asking about this. It ties into billing groups a little bit, because apparently if they just ask people what their thoughts about it, if you had that screen where you can set up bank stream expense classification,
Mm-hmm.
if you had it on the vendor screen and you could set up when this bill comes in,
Mm-hmm.
that means that in Darwin, it would be possible for Darwin to do on the screen when you enter bills.
Yep.
You could actually say, hey, Darwin, bill from Pacific Gas and Electric, $45.
Mm-hmm.
And it could enter the payable and expense it right, because on the vendor profile, it knew how to do it.
That would be really fantastic, because right now we only have the line for one office and one GL number.
Exactly
vendor.
correct.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, and that way, even if you entered it manually, it could go faster, but there's no reason then to do anything but just tell Darwin the vendor name and the total, and it can do it from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, could possibly save a lot of time and energy.
And mistakes.
Yeah, so if you talk to people about that idea on the webinar tomorrow, see if you get any feedback. We have a lot of wicked smart customers, and they may have some ideas about that we're not thinking about.
Okay.
Cool.
Anything else?
That's it for me. Why don't you just go around the horn and see if anybody else has anything?
Does anybody have any questions? Teresa, there's nothing in the chat.
I don't see anything, but I also didn't see Mark's comments. So if there's questions,
Oh.
I'm not seeing them.
Let's just see.
Maybe just make sure.
I don't see anything in my chat.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Let me see if I see something in my chat. Then maybe they didn't make you the host of it correctly.
They made me the host, and I can't see anything.
No, that's it.
Okay.
Okay, if
So-
anybody had a question that didn't show up in the chat and you want to ask it, we're here.
And otherwise, what time's the hands-on tomorrow?
2 p.m. Eastern.
All righty, there it is.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great
Thanks,
day.
Barbara. Have a
Thanks,
good day.
everybody. Thanks for
Barbara.
helping out.
Thanks, Barbara.
Bye. Thanks.